Let's define the two operating systems of your mind. First, you have divergent thinking. This is the accelerator. It asks, here is a problem. How many different ways can we solve it? It sees a brick and imagines a paperweight, a weapon, a doorstop, or ground up dust for art. Then you have convergent thinking. This is the break. It asks, here are the facts. What is the one correct answer? School is 90% convergent. Multiple choice tests, standardized exams, raising your hand only when you know the solution. Every time you were graded, you were rewarded for convergence. And you were punished for divergence. If you colored outside the lines, you lost marks. If you solved the maths problem the wrong way, even if you got the right answer, you were corrected. Your brain learned a brutal lesson. Creativity is risky. Compliance is safe. Here's what people get wrong about intelligence. We think the A student is the smartest person in the room, but psychologically, an A grade is often just a receipt for conformity. It means you are excellent at reciting what you were told. You are excellent at finding the one right answer. But life rarely has one right answer. Relationships don't have one right answer. Business doesn't have one right answer. When you enter the real world with a convergent brain, you freeze. Psychologists call this learned helplessness. You wait for instructions that are never coming. You look for a syllabus that doesn't exist. You aren't lazy. You're just waiting for permission in a world that requires initiative. This rewiring leads to a cognitive bias called functional fixedness. This is when you can only see an object or a situation in the way it was traditionally used. You see a chair, so you sit. You see a job description, so you follow it. A divergent thinker sees a chair and sees a ladder, a barricade, or firewood. School trains. Functional fixedness because it makes classrooms manageable. Imagine 30 kids all using divergent thinking at once. It's chaos. So the teacher needs you to converge. Sit down, face front, listen. But that order comes at a cost. It creates a neural pathway that says, do not experiment. And now as an adult, when you try to start a business or learn a new skill, that pathway lights up. It screams error. It screams stop. So, can you reverse it? Yes. Neuroplasticity means your brain can change until the day you die. Here is a simple exercise to break functional fixedness. It's called the alternative uses task. Pick one object on your desk right now. A stapler, a coffee mug. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Write down 30 uses for that object. The first 5 will be normal. Drink coffee. Hold water. But by number 20, your brain will start to hurt. You'll say, use it as a cookie cutter. Use it to trap a spider. Smash it to make a mosaic. That pain you feel? That is the rust breaking off your divergent thinking muscles. Do this once a day. If you are wondering why your brain feels so rusty, or why it feels like you've lost your edge in your 20s, you need to hear this. NASA once asked a scientist named Dr. George Land to build a test to measure the creativity of their engineers. The test worked perfectly. But then Dr. Land did something interesting. He gave that exact same test to 1,600 5-year-old children. At 5 years old, 98% of them scored at genius level for imagination and problem solving. But then they went through the school system. He tested those exact same kids 5 years later at age 10. The genius level dropped to 30%. He tested them again at 15. It dropped to 12%. And when they tested adults, people out in the real world trying to build careers, only 2% still thought like a genius. Land's conclusion was terrifyingly simple. Uncreative behavior is learned. You didn't lose your potential. You were educated out of it. You were trained to edit your thoughts before you even finish thinking them. If you feel stuck in life, if you feel like you can't solve your own problems, please understand, you are not stupid. You are simply a victim of a system designed for the Industrial Revolution. You were built for a factory that has closed down. The future does not belong to the ones who can follow rules. Algorithms follow rules perfectly. The future belongs to the 2%, the ones who can look at a broken system and see a new way, the ones who can look at a crisis and see an opportunity. You still have that 5-year-old genius inside you. It's just buried under 20 years of sit down and be quiet. It is time to wake them up. But there is one final trap. Even if you regain your creativity, there is a specific social punishment for being a divergent thinker. And if you aren't ready for it, you will go right back into your shell. We'll talk about the psychology of social rejection in the next video. I want to know your experience. Tell me in the comments, what was the one subject in school that you felt actually let you think? Or was there none? If this helped you see clearly, hit subscribe. We are building the 2% here. See you soon.